Hey guys, it's Josh with Raven Ranger Craft here, and we're going to talk about the First Amendment. You see, there's a lot of talk about the Second Amendment, but the First Amendment is super important. That's why it's number one. And we're going to talk specifically about how the First Amendment affects social media platforms. Facebook, YouTube, Patreon, Twitter, you name it. Is it important that the platform A, be held accountable for its users and what they say, or B, not be held accountable and not be able to censor them? I think there needs to be a line drawn. If you're not accountable, you cannot censor. If you can't censor, you have to be held accountable for those that you don't censor. My personal viewpoint. The reason being is First Amendment speech protects your right to say what you feel within reason. Of course, there's certain limitations, but news presses and newspapers were always held accountable for what they said because they owned everything. Whereas YouTube doesn't own my content. YouTube doesn't own your content. Facebook doesn't own whatever you reblogged of your next door neighbor's cat sniffing its butt or whatever. So, what is it that makes social media platforms so special? And of course, it's the ability for the average Joe to log an account and make something where he can post, explain, provide information, and not have to worry about all the expenses it would take to run his own website, to market his own self, to have traffic drawn, but he can still express themselves. Now, problem with being censored, like on Facebook, is when you include a company that begins to censor its users, a social media platform, then it takes pride in those it doesn't censor. Therefore, it stands behind them, meaning it's taking a side. Therefore, it has to be responsible for those in which it does or doesn't censor. What are you guys' thoughts? Is it an infringement on your First Amendment right, or is it just business? Hear it down in the comments below. Hopefully, there'll be some good discussion.